whenever you're ready.
All right, injury update. P. Ryan won't participate today. He'll be doing some strength and conditioning stuff with those guys out on the other fields. Becton will be limited with a knee. Flacco limited with a neck. Luvu limited with a neck, and then Avery will be limited with a hamstring. Obviously, you guys saw we put Lev, Mims, Cashman on IR. We're just we're banged up right now. We got to get some bodies in here, try to create some depth while those guys get better. And, we're on to San Francisco and getting ready for that. Sounds like they're kind of in the same situation as us as far as being banged up a little bit. And, we just got to put a good week together and get ready for this game on Sunday.
Adam, you said Becton limited with a knee, right? So what happened there? What's he dealing with?
It was in the game. He just never came out. They just checked him out. He just said, I'm good going back in. So we got to be careful here on, today and see how he feels tomorrow afterwards. So, he's a tough guy. He wasn't going to come out of the game.
How close is Avery to being able to play with your situation right now at linebacker?
Yeah, we'll see today. See where he's at. We'll go through individual. We'll see how far we can take him in practice. Obviously, the last thing we need is a setback. If we can figure out a way to get him to the game and get him as healthy as possible, that'd be ideal. We gotta manage this situation correctly.
Adam, what things is Dowell working with Sam on to help him improve?
We're working on our drops, progressions. We got a different set of drills every day that we kind of theme it up day in and day out. It just depends what we feel like we need for that week.
Adam, what was the decision like on Le'Veon to put him on IR? You've talked in the summer about how he never wants to come out. So, what went into that decision?
It's just the time frame. Like I said on Monday, I'm always going to give him the benefit of the doubt, just knowing the kind of shape he's in. His ability to play through pain. I've seen it. The guy's got a pretty high pain threshold. That was an ugly play. I think he tried to gut it out. Like I said, I wish I would have took him out, at halftime, but, he's a hard one to convince that that's the right move. And, we just feel like giving him that time will be beneficial to him.
You expressed your feelings on Le'Veon after the game, saying how, you were mad at yourself for leaving him in. But I'm just wondering, isn't that the trainer's call? And, on whether a player is in or out with an injury?
Yeah, it's a full discussion. Sometimes the player doesn't care what any of us think. These guys, some of these guys are unique in the aspect of they play through some things that you don't even realize are going on. And, some guys are, their bodies are, they figure out a way to play through pain. And some guys have tears and pulls and stuff, and they figure out a way to gut it out. Obviously at his position, it's tougher because everything's so movement oriented, and burst and, making somebody miss. And when that is affected, that it's really hard to be who you want to be and do it with a bum hamstring.
How much of a challenge is Nick Bosa? I'm sure you've been spending the last few days watching him. What kind of challenge does he present?
Yeah, you give Chris Kasarik, that guy, there's going to be a lot of damage done to quarterbacks. I know that. So, he's an unbelievable player. I love the way he gets off the ball, the way he pursues it, the way the way he plays the run game. I mean, the guy has phenomenal effort, play in and play out. I mean, that whole group does. I mean, but that starts with their position coach. That's how he does it. That's how he coaches. I mean, he's a very impressive player to watch.
Adam, you said or you noted that the 49ers are having injury troubles too, and you guys are also obviously having injury troubles, and it's not just isolated to you too. Like the whole league is kind of banged up right now. What do you think like this offseason had a role to play with how many injuries are starting off the season?
I don't know. I think this is going to be one of those things of like bigger picture, kind of see as we go. Like right now, I feel like a lot of this is soft tissue type stuff. Does that mean the off season prevents that from happening? It's hard for me to say. Is 5-7 days enough time for our guys to really get in dynamic shape for NFL training camp? It's hard to say right now. I think this is going to be one of those things that at the end of the year, you'll be able to look back and say, okay, hey, this is where it was different than the year before, and maybe or these are the things that we need to change moving forward. So we just got to kind of use the information that we're gathering at the moment. It's frustrating because a lot of this is, it's the skill guys it's happening to. It's, and it is the groups that you have limited number of guys. You lose more than one guy at a position. It's problematic.
Adam, it's Kim. I'm curious if, for instance, Sam on Sunday, when he could have thrown that ball away and avoided the sack, does he come off the field and say to you, like, blankety blank, I just screwed up? Or is that one where you have to say to Sam Darnold, what do we do? Okay.
No, he said it. I wish he would have heard me yelling at him, but he didn't. I think he just got locked in on, he saw some guys starting to move on the scramble drill, and it was just a poor decision.
Are you at all concerned? And I'm not trying to be a bad guy here, but there were other decisions and throws I could obviously mention to you. Did any of that set you back where you said like, whoa, we're not as far ahead with Sam as I thought we were?
No, I mean, there was a couple of things that happened where, it was like one of those things where we screw one thing up and then it just avalanched on us early in the game, especially. I look at those first 14 plays, and I can pick 5 plays out where, he had that missed throw to Perryman, but then there was a couple other things that if we do a couple other things differently and we do it right, that he's not even really responsible for, that could be game-changing type plays early.
You think that Sam has enough playmakers to get better this season?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to keep getting better. I mean, we got a lot of new guys, and we screwed up some details of what we were doing, and we missed a couple things. I mean, we'll get that stuff corrected. That's what we're working on every week. It's what we've been talking about since the beginning of training camp. The sense of urgency's got to be through the roof at all times because every day is so valuable. I mean, you're learning so much. I mean, all these guys that are new in the system, and Sam's in his second year. It's like we got to get everybody on the same page really fast, and we can't screw up any minor details because when those plays occur, like we got to hit on. Like we can't either miss a throw or have the route run wrong or drop a pass. Like we got to be on the same page and make sure that we execute this stuff.
We'll take a few more for Coach.
Adam, when you're playing these defenses that are obviously near the best in the league, how does that factor into the margin of error and maybe making these mistakes more apparent?
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm glad that you're acknowledging that we actually played a good defense, top 5 defense, and then playing a pretty good one here this week. I mean, that's why you can't make mistakes. You can't go 3 and out. You have to stay on the field. You're playing into their hands. You go 3 and out, and it's a defensive line that you have to make sure stays on the field because if they're fresh, it's just going to make it harder for the O-line. And when the O-line's blocking guys well, and all of a sudden we're 3 and out, and we're not executing things the right way, you're making their job harder. Next thing you know, now you're throwing all the time. Now their job's really hard. So that's why we got to be a lot better in all the little tiny things that we can do to put us in a better position, stay in third and manageable, and getting out of that 3rd and 8, 9, 10, 11. We just got to stay out of that stuff.
Adam, Kim again with one more, if I may. What do you learn about Mackay when mid-game or whenever, and I don't know if you know when the knee was, but, wants to stay in, and my guess is he'll want to play Sunday. I mean, you learning something about your big left tackle?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, he's all football. He's tough. That group's tight. Those guys don't want to let each other down. And to me, it would take a lot for one of those guys to miss a game.
Thank you.
Adam, did you get any clarity on Pierre Desir after talking to Denard and Greg on Monday?
Yeah, I mean, it was, that was their call at the time. They felt like that was the best move that they could do for where we were in the game. We start the week over. We practice, and the best guys are going to play. So that's how we're rolling. I like the fact that we're going to have competition, and whoever practices the best, that's who will be out there.
Adam, we know how you feel about Frank, but now that he's going to have a bigger role, what do you expect from him? Do you have to treat this week? I know he's off on Thursdays, but do you have to treat anything differently with him?
No. He'll go do his thing today. Hopefully, Josh and Kayla will get reps to kind of, keep his workload as it normally would be on Wednesday. He's a tough guy he don't want to come out on the runs in practice anyways. So, he's a hard one to argue with when you're not telling him what he wants to hear. So, but I thought he did a good job. We almost popped a couple of those. We finished a couple of those blocks on a couple of his runs. I mean, I think he's on the safety. So, we'll get through practice this week and try to get some things cleaned up and see if we can get a couple of explosive runs.
What can you?
Adam,
what kind of shape is Kalen Balaj in, and how easy is the transition for him because he knows the offense? Obviously,
it's pretty easy for him. He's smart.
But
he's in shape. We just, he's coming off a hamstring. That's what he's been doing the last couple of weeks, is making sure, like, he's been rehabbing. So, we worked him out. We felt like he looked good. So we'll get him out there and see how he's looking and see how he feels.
What did you see in him? Because he obviously had a pretty good year with you 2 years ago, and then he really struggled last year. What do you like out of him?
He's 238 and runs a 4.4. He was the kind of guy that he gives you flexibility at the running back spot with not only being able to play running back but play special teams. His body type is ideal for Brant. I know that for sure. When you got a guy that can play a lot of different spots, because normally he can play spots that linebackers would play, but because of his speed and his ability, his movement skills, he can also play. Like, I had him at gunner. So, I mean, when you're that big and that fast and you can play gunner, he's a hard guy to hold up. So just being able to have another guy that we have the option of possibly doing something like that, his ability, he's had return ability. He just gives you a lot of flexibility. And, we're always trying to get him better as a running back as well.
Adam, one last quick one on Frank. Have you noticed that he's had maybe a little even extra pep in his step at all here the last day or so, knowing that he's got a chance on offense kind of to be the featured guy for these next couple of weeks?
I don't know. He seems the same to me. I mean, saw those guys Monday. Today when we met, I don't know. He seems the same to me. I mean, that's what Frank does. He's like that. He's level.
That it for Coach? Thanks, Coach.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Thank you.